can't just be, he's a bully, he's a piece of shit, I hate him. Why is he talking about this publicly? If you're going to come out and say that you have a really deep-seated hatred for one of the two people running for president, if you're going to express yourself about it and alienate 50% of the country, which it seems like it is, you're going to have to do better than that. You should have some specific things. Like he did some real estate deals with people in New York. Let me tell you what he did to fuck blow over.
I would love to hear it.
He did this and that.
Robert De Niro's 29-year-old child, Aaron, has come out as transgender. When the press asked her for comment, she said, "You talking to they, them?"
Joe recently gave Robert De Niro harsh comments. Rogan and Greg Gutfeld, all of which were broadcast live. Here's what happens when a Hollywood legend meets two fervent critics. Joe attempted to make a powerful statement, but Rogan and Gutfeld didn't hold back. There was a furious argument that left onlookers speechless. If you want to witness a daring conversation that took everyone by surprise, hit play before it ends.
Then I like more on a Sunday than some old guy spewing F-bombs.
This guy should not be president, period.
And when you say that, folks on Fox come after you. I remember the Tonys when he got up there and cursed. A lot of if you. Okay, well, you know, this is cable, so it's not an FCC violation, but it is still a Sunday morning.
That was Bobby De Niro promoting his new movie, Grumpy Old Man 7, More Strained.
Once thought to be the pinnacle of gritty, hard-hitting filmmaking, Robert De Niro, an actor who personified fire in streetwise New York, but his public outbursts are more well-known than his performances. He has swiftly come to represent Hollywood's increasing seclusion. Greg Gutfeld and JoeRogan, two very different personas, found unexpected common ground with De Niro at the center of a recent episode. What could have been a constructive dialogue was transformed into something more similar to a takedown by their offensive remarks. When two intelligent people come together like that, the conversation takes a completely different turn and does not go in De Niro's favor.
And De Niro, how stupid is he without a script? Isn't that amazing? I used to think, wow, that guy's brilliant. But once you take the words away from him, he is so stupid. That then when he goes, impeachment will make America great again, and everybody's, how intellectually deprived he is. He's a coke-addled simpleton, without a script. It is hysterical.
Does he have a big coke problem?
I just read that article that you sent me about the last nights of John Belushi and how De Niro was there and just basically partied with him and then split. And it's just like, that's now I just think of him as a really stupid.
Once a master of forceful silence, Robert De Niro now frequently appears in contentious political discussions. He seems to think that he is now a spokesperson for political accountability and public ideals. But instead of drawing attention with a single look, he now comes across as overly eager, motivated by coffee and pre-written comments. The energy is still there, but it has been tempered with resentment and critical remarks about whoever is currently in control.
Well, Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Now, Kurt's convinced that Robert De Niro's on some kind of Epstein list or some kind of thing like that, and then he's afraid that if Trump does get power, he's going to expose him, and he is actually going to come at him.
Of course Kurt thinks that.
That's what Kurt thinks that.
Kurt thinks that about every fucking thing that happens in the world.
I think Robert De Niro's just got Trump derangement syndrome.
I think he's old, too. There's a thing about old men.
And
they want to yell at everybody.
And he's completely... Did you see when he went and gave that speech outside of the trial? That was bizarre.
Who told him that was a good idea?
And then he starts yelling at regular...
Except when it's on national television, Robert De Niro has turned into the relative who can't stop discussing politics at every family get-together. You would think that he would leave the stage with a bookshelf full of honors. Instead, as if anxious to prove that he is still important, he keeps making headlines with violent outbursts. These days, his public appearances seem less like acts and more like attempt to get an answer in the hopes that someone is still paying attention.
Robert De Niro, there's something about being a star where you think your opinion's more important than anybody else's, and you can go give a press conference, and he obviously has been very vocal from 2016 that he hates Trump for whatever reason. Maybe they have some personal thing.
Yeah. You think Trump ever threw a punch himself or took one? This guy who ran and hid in the White House bunker when there were protesters outside? No way.
Now he's like holding press conferences. Now everyone's heckling him everywhere he goes.
That's so bad.
Like instead of just being this cranky old liberal, now you're this guy that is yelling at other people that are Trump supporters, and they're yelling at you. Yeah. Like you've opened yourself up to this nonsense. Why?
Trying to be gentlemen in this world. The Democrats, you are gangsters. You are gangsters.
JoeRogan, who frequently combines absurd stories and debates about science and technology with light-hearted humor, couldn't help but react. Who was he truly to blame? Diaro has become a prime target, appearing more aloof with each outburst. He used to be praised for his quiet intensity, but nowadays he frequently speaks loudest in the room, and not in a positive way. Rogan didn't need to delve very far. His observations regarding Dairo's attempts to appear smart after the 1990s were particularly noteworthy. Then there's Greg Gutfeld, whose entire persona is based on scathing irony. He saw Dairo's recent passing as yet another glaring illustration of how aloof Hollywood's elites can be. Despite the fact that nobody had inquired or been impressed, Gutfeld could see that Dairo was keen to show something. Audiences are growing impatient as Dairo appears to be focusing more on attention these days and on purpose.
I think that's starting to affect Hollywood a little bit, to where now if you look at the most successful people, it is the realest people. You know, people might not even like, say, a Donald Trump, but people are gravitated because they think, hey, man, this is him. This is real.
I think the best thing for people in Hollywood that are entrenched in that world is to shut the fuck up. Because as soon as they start talking, people as soon as Robert De Niro starts talking, I'm like, Jesus, get that fucking microphone away from him so I can enjoy Taxi Driver.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I don't want to hear. I love De Niro. I love those mob movies. It's like,
I don't want to hear him that he's a moron. I don't want to hear him talking about politics and about Trump supporters, and just shut the fuck up, man.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't think this through. Like, this is, and he's getting yelled at. He's doing an outside press conference. Like, Robert, you're 80 years old. Don't.
The twist is here. Robert De Niro's political involvement has appeared to serve more as a show than a function. A wealthy actor who leads a life of luxury and international influence while teaching working-class audiences about morality hollow rings imported phones sending out climate change warnings, followed by TV lectures and wine tastings. The biggest irony in Hollywood, once an expert at disappearing into his performances, De Niro now primarily portrays himself. Loud, irate, and frequently inco, he would probably win the award every year a celebrity could be used as a prop, paraphrasing Scorsese during one of his outbursts. The real sadness is that De Niro has become a parody of the person he used to be. Performances that were once focused and solemn have turned into irrational, angry outbursts.
This is what moms call bad language, or what producers call great TV. The plan, get an irrational figure at peak derangement and goad him into snapping. It's like cabaret for the chronically obsessed. It's like when you were a kid and would pull wheelies on Old Man Johnson's front yard. Finally, he just cracks. He's holding a spatula, chasing you around in his open robe. That's the De Niro CNN business model in a nutshell. Money for nothing and clicks for free. Of course, the real story is how accusations of Trump's nutty behavior always ends up with the accusers acting nuttier. De Niro calls Trump crazy as he goes crazy.
His most recent outburst essentially gave Greg Gutfeld and JoeRogan the punchlines. He was once commended for his powerful presence, but these days he seems more like a talk show panelist than a movie star, lost in his own monologues. Rather than aging shamefully, De Niro has turned into a cautionary story about a celebrity who encounters trouble.
Business is just being a real person talking shit.
Yeah.
The professional shit talkers.
Yeah.
You know, having fun, being silly, talking shit about things. And actors are not that. They're weird people, man. And the one thing that's harming them in Hollywood is that they get exposed for being who they really are. And a lot of these people that pretend to be all, you know, clean cut and you find out they're into freaky shit. And, you know, it's like.
And it's easier to expose stuff now because
It's no longer down with Trump. It's Trump.
It kills me. Talk about persuasive. Really, I was on the fence about Trump, but then I decided to really listen to one of the great generational leaders of American pop culture. And the clenched fists at the end, that really drove it home. It looked like he was pressing a 2-pound weight in a Jenny Craig commercial.
Oh, my God.
Look at it again. It's so cute. It's like he found out the restaurant serves.
Let's discuss De Niro's most recent film, which, if you may use that term, appears to be more of a rehashing of earlier successes and a genuine performance. His passion that once set him apart has not been present in his most recent roles. We get lifeless, boring situations that appear more contractual than artistic in place of gripping passages. His voice is robotic and lacks the emotional impact that formerly permeated his performances. The spark is just absent. It is evident that he is being cast because of the nostalgia associated with his name rather than his current attributes. Studios attempted to capitalize on long-forgotten accomplishments by using his likeness on posters. However, let's face it, this isn't a resurgence. It acts as a warning about how far myths can go from there.
And when old people are tired and cranky, they just want everyone to listen to them, and they don't have time to have a calm conversation, and you state out your opinion, I'll state my opinion, let's see where we have common ground. Hey, get off my lawn! And that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. He's being this old grumpy man that is so lost that he thinks it's a good idea to stand in front of a bunch of people on the street and give a speech on camera about how bad Donald Trump is. With all the shit that's going in the world.
That I know.
All the craziness of the world.
Right now, the guy you're...
Resistance had run out of script. It was just another role without dialogue, so he had to improvise. But I handed to CNN. It got me to watch, and by having it on the 5, it quadrupled their audience. Congrats to Stelter and CNN for that 1 minute. You had a hit. So, Dana, shall I quote Scott Adams?
Oh, yeah, I was thirsty.
Okay.
Drink.
He claims that because we've entered a new phase where not liking Trump is just a lifestyle. So you're a lifestyle resistor because when you
don't even have to have a reason.
Yeah. So when he kept saying why, he's just going F him.
Formerly well known for portraying complex, violent characters, Robert De Niro now speaks like a professor of public ethics. An unexpected shift that leaves many uneasy even while he has a right to voice his opinions. It seems abrupt to go from criminal plays to political speeches. Some find his conviction admirable, while others find the irony incomprehensible.